Hi, the stream will be starting soon. In the meantime, I will have some music playing, copyright free music playing from Lud and Schlatt's Musical Emporium. Thank you. Okay, hello. That turned off for now. I hope my audio is doing okay. I'm not the most confident on my audio situation. I apologize. Welcome to the stream. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the gameplay. Just a second. Hi. Okay, I had to turn the gameplay music off because otherwise it would have been playing over the music I had playing, which wouldn't be great. Anyways, hope you're doing well today. Say that without further ado, I honestly don't know what much to say. So I just realized that I closed out of... Yeah, thought I was exiting the menu. Nope. What I pressed was exiting the whole game. So give me a second to reboot up the game. That's embarrassing, but you know, it's what happens whenever you're trying things out. In the process of booting up, just a moment. Should catch, and there we are. Wonderful. Okay. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Ooh, select adventure. And we're just going to do the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. We're not going to do Resolve 2, not yet, because I've not played the first one. So let's go ahead and do new game.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Well.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
What a way to begin, honestly. Just throwing us right into the deep end. Episode 1. The Adventure of the Great Departure. Benevue à la Carnival. 22nd of November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber. 5. Still can't believe it. Still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber, the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? What? Oh, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. 3. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? No, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. go again, apologizing. Just like always. Well, I must say, been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor, murdered in cold blood by student. Obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up, hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asagi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. He's far more clever than I am, a star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yeah, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. Looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. Let me turn on the game volume a bit, because I feel like it might be overshadowing me just a tad. I'm going to turn my volume up just a tad as well, make sure stuff going through. Okay, just making sure. So, you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud, as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean, see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. Only it were that simple. Oh dear. Look at the time. I'd better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. I'm guessing we never made it to English class. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asagi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asagi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotaba. I'm a professor of prosthetic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. Heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asagi told me about you, and you and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asagi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, If he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? Oh, as I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asagi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas studies. Very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. What? But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not... Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Oh, it would seem our surreptitious discussions are about to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asagi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. This is it. This trial goes badly. Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. I'm actually going to turn off my webcam. I'm not quite liking my appearance today, so we're actually going to have that off. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that will decide my destiny. I feel a lot more comfortable with my webcam off. I might just like remove the entire webcam deal from the bottom corner there. I don't know yet. Anyways, 22nd of November, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature? I don't know how to pronounce that word, but we'll see. Courtroom 2. Supreme Court of Judicature. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm just going to go with Supreme Court of Judicature. Nice. So, this is a courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. The military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time, but for now... You need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedures for the defendant's advocacy would be applied 2 days prior to the trial. This is an unusual circumstance. I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. Then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I do. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. What is the meaning of this outrunly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything, just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. Means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that. Really, it's just that on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel, really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san?
Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking.
Not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed.
As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature in Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes, Your Excellency.
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken.
My competence?
What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job.
Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am.
So, let's start with the very simplest of questions.
Yes.
Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But, wait.
I'm so nervous I can't remember that. What was it again? Inosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank.
You know me so well.
All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of E. But if you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there.
I press E for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose.
The list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with E. Now details about the victim in here. You're done, just press Z to go back. John H. Wilson, the victim in this case. He was visiting professor of medicine at Yume University in the British Empire. So remember, everything you do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, and then press R to present. Right now.
Yes! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates of the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. I did the wrong voice for myself because I didn't notice the person changed. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. Fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson.
Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life?
Oh, let's check. We have, post-mortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to chest. Did not pass through the victim's body.
State before the courtroom the cause of death.
Cause of death? Well, obviously, that was, Ryunosuke, remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select to present. Do it now.
Yes.
Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Listen, learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right, the, post-mortem report.
In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy.
But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. I was not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. You can clearly discern scorch marks from the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume the victim was shot at close range.
Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record.
Photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So, that's a photographic print? That's something I've never seen before. Clearly superior to any drawing. The detail is incredible.
Very well, I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial.
Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better appraise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
This is it, then.
think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind.
The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba?
Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. That doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant.
Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asugi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial.
He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he?
Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma.
Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats.
Only if you reel in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first.
Ooh, this is a classy looking gentleman.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. That's the wrong voice.
Of course, my name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carnival.
Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some,
It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me.
Well, it really should.
As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants in Occidental Eatery 3 days ago. Occidental, I don't know what that word is.
Understood. Osanaga-san, will you will kindly tell the court everything you can tell about the incident?
At once, sir.
And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please.
Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring?
It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have a few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied.
That seals my memory of it, too. Hardly anyone else in the place.
When I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery, a gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on, let me clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Attention!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur.
But...
The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo.
Don't worry, Ryunosuke, you'll have your chance to fight back.
For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness.
If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in hand was the same man we see here in court today?
Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Wait. Did you just say? There was no one else around that table.
What's the matter, Ryunosuke?
That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table.
Really?
And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? Wait. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject.
Ryunosuke, your parents tell you to study. You're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you?
I suppose I am. I'd never gotten to university otherwise.
But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you are found guilty.
Alright, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. There is something I want to say. Got my eyes to say it. Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson was not alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table. Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw.
Osanaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy.
No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant, as it were, that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to.
Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout, drawn by yourself, I presume?
Yeah, that's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone.
Well, you're certainly a very conscientious waiter.
Thank you, sir.
The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence.
Well...
Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once.
Of course. Here you are. What was that about? Being completely calm and collected up until now. Something surely seems to have shaken him. Waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. So, the court has now heard a precis of the case.
Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in turn of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case up to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm gonna be found guilty one way or another, it would seem. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual about these peculiarities. You've said it, Professor Mikatoba said it, so is the judge and prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this.
As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it?
What?
If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means is necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Or are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke.
Huh?
The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is.
Got that curve in his wrist.
Indeed. Prosecutor Auchi, please continue with the proceedings.
Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witness.
Choked over my own tongue. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once.
Sorry.
Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Asa Nosa, reporting for duty, sir.
Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the effervescence of our nation Nippon, and to conduct my trade from Rasutai, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Girio Korekuta, at your service.
An antique dealer and a server. What an unusual pairing.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table the waiter mentioned.
Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always past noon. Not infrequently, converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business.
I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He said, "Oh, hi, welcome to the stream." He's an antique dealer, and it sounds he's a regular at Le Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir.
It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir.
This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening? The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment he shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start.
Now, the court will hear from your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment the incident occurred.
So, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report, sir.
Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon.
Acribic. I think that word is acribic. Ooh, witness testimony. The first witness testimony of the game. What the witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio, the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Wait a second. Wait a second. Give me a second. I want to check the court record here. He said that I shot him from the back. Shot from the front of the chest. Bullet did not pass through. How do I view it? Yeah, that's not shot from the back. He is lying. I want to look at this again. That's the entrance. That's. I did not mean to zoom in on that or whatever. Okay, interesting. Okay.
I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of a mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Well, so, you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy.
What times we live in when in English...
This man brought a knife into a courtroom.
When an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day.
But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Inosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. When I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting.
thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up...
Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was.
There is?
Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses.
Cross-examine?
Do it now.
As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimonies of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring these despicable students to justice.
Certainly the testimony has been heard, eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of the trial. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst?
I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. How did he know? The prosecution objects. It is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant.
Wasn't so commanding.
Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses.
Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination.
Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witness's statement.
How?
You didn't fire the gun, which means that soldier has... I can't talk. Which means what that soldier said has to be a lie.
Well, yes, but...
It's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence.
Right, evidence.
All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you.
Alright then. It's all or nothing. Cross-examination. What the witnesses saw. So I think I already figured out what the lie is. While I was playing earlier. I was suggesting beefsteak in a tactful discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's action with my own eyes. Black uniform varsity cadet, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. I'm gonna press him, because I see the buttons here at the bottom. Press. So this black uniform university cadet, you're saying that was... Ha! I've had just about enough of your sauce, cadet. Who else do you see around here in a black uniform, Oh, there's someone standing right next to me who fits the description as well. But... It was you, you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man from behind his back, and you call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon. You disgust me.
What is it, Ryunosuke?
I'm not quite sure. Something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. He's playing on my mind.
In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. If you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court. Thrust it in the witness's face and make him choke on it.
Prime presser, yeah, I got an achievement for that. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio. I'm just gonna go back and I'm gonna try. What am I supposed to do here?
Listen, Ryunosuke, we know that there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them.
I understand that. The question is, how? Oh, thank you very much, Haley BB. Thank you very much for following. It's great to have you here. You can examine and present evidence while a witness is giving testimony. I don't like that that chatted in my chat. I don't know how to turn that off. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to figure that out later. Quite an annoyance. Unless it just blocked the chatter.
Hello. Wonderful to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's absolutely great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. It actually does mean a lot. I enjoy getting to see people and getting to have people come and watch as I have some fun playing games, and I like. Yeah, so just thank you for coming. Anyways, you can present evidence with a witness who is giving testimony by pressing E. Go through each witness statement and the details about each piece of evidence and compare all the facts. Somewhere in there. Nice to listen. Thank you. Somewhere in there you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. Inconsistency? When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seem to contradict each other, present your evidence with R and rip the witness apart. Oh. Be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you've dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart, and you'll receive a guilty verdict. So that's it. Pursue the evidence in the court record, and find an inconsistency with the witness's statement. I'm very bad at keeping track of who's talking, so there might be times that I get the wrong voice. Who knows? Alright, I'll give it a try. You can hear the witness's statements over and over again as many times as you'd like. So keep your head and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner. Okay, so I know that the fly was here because we did not shoot him in the back. But I don't know if it wants this, lost blood from a gunshot to the chest, or if I should show the photo. I'm gonna show the photo because that's more decisive. Oh. What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Putting some photographic print in my mustache? Inconsistency, sir? I mean, yes! There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think it's printed beyond doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. This is so frustrating.
Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court.
Kazuma, what? What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Ioannis Nosa. Yes, sir. What's up? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be.
And why not, cadet?
Because...
Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it?
Is that a baby? Was that a child around your back? Okay. What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again.
Certainly there's a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa?
Yes, sir.
At this juncture, that would appear to be the indisputable.
Until the moment I heard the fire. That is a child. It's just, okay, fair enough, I guess. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharged, my eyes were firmly fixated on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ian Espinosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. Yeah, it's a baby. It definitely is. And that's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Yeah. Yeah, nope, there's no doubt about it once we saw him from the back. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial just from one discrepancy. But this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes.
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either.
Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Busy on the floor. Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure.
Treasure.
Indeed, the Hoey Era Caban, my prized coin. On each occasion I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasute,
in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you.
On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I preferred my Hoey treasure. I believed that he would purchase such a rare find. I did not, but I was presented with a little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more, it simply vanished.
The Caban vanished?
Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened.
So, is the audio balance okay? Do I need to, like, turn up the volume of the game or down the volume of my voice, so on and so forth? Because I don't know what the good, like, I don't know the audio balance right now. So that'd be cool to know. Anyways, you heard the gunshot, you mean?
Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoey treasure. Nothing could distract me.
Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end?
No.
I see.
That lamentable day, the precious Hoey Caban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself.
As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to the Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony of this court has heard was inconclusive. Sending chats delay a bit. Voice audio is crisp. Game audio is great too. Wonderful. Thank you. That's wonderful to hear. Okay. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Alche?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate. That is a phrase I've not heard before.
Fled a tiger at the front gate. Interesting.
But he will find a wolf at the back.
That's... Oh, I understand now. Avoiding it at the front. Okay, that makes sense now. That it did not click in my head for a moment there.
But he will find a wolf at the back.
Huh?
My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing the next statement, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could have possibly committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well, the court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? Oh, give me a second. I'm gonna change something to make this a little bit more better for y'all. And that should make it. I don't know. I just didn't really like the idea that the cursor was being captured on the screen. I think it makes it look not as good seeing the cursor just fly around the screen. But yeah.
As clear as Kiriko glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir.
Excuse me, but there's something, someone peeking over your shoulder, I think.
Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Aido. You'll see those straps are a sign of the sergeant being strapped to a foreign nanny. Okay, I find that line funny. Aido. Teen Shun. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. Okay, that's adorable. The true culprit. Even when what I saw was not the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see.
Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. These testimonies are certainly compelling. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, was not alone at all.
Please, enough of these outbursts already.
But there was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly.
We are not here to listen to your fantasies.
It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel?
Indeed. Of the table where the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of this print. Hi, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. It's good to see you. It would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anybody else.
This doesn't make any sense.
The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record.
Photographic print of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw the woman.
The waiter before said the exact same thing.
He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. That's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him.
It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. I think that I, Takatsuchi Aochi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires as an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule.
Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet.
What?
If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth, in your cross-examination.
I don't know, Kazuma.
The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick, understood?
Rules can be so unbending at times.
Cross-examination.
True culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. I'm gonna press everything on this, because otherwise, I could be in trouble.
No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun.
We have a different opinion on that. The opinion of an unformed...
I can't talk.
The difference of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. They have what? Attention! The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Let us not forget the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Korekura-san? Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I did see for myself.
I'm pressing everything because I don't know what the problem is here.
Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time, but I've told you already that that's only because I'd picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I just finished drinking my coffee. I'm just about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, a gunshot rang in my ears. This is the wrong voice. I don't know why I suddenly gave him this voice. Full of events beyond our control, life is. I'm sorry. What do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitates this testing predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the kaban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Wasn't the waiter there, no? Unless he's not counting that. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table, and there was a lady there. As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her.
Fortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. Quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant.
You know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect.
Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day. Why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason.
There was?
This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
What is that, Counsel?
It's a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at the clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
A hotter clinic, yes. There would appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m.
Very day of the incident. The victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. Prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case.
I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke?
Well, it's hard to see how it can be related, really.
Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful.
Can I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report card to be submitted as evidence or not?
I mean, everything in there is for the best, I suppose.
If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds?
The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention, the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern. Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon?
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense request.
Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Yes, how dare we assert our rights? Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the officer court record. Why am I doing the prosecutor?
I need to get these voices sorted out. Gosh. The victim's medical report card has been entered into the court record. What we need now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first.
Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you'd like, but it is the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Kore Kura-san.
Oh, I forgot we were in the middle of a cross-examination.
Indeed, alone again, the Englishman was, dining all by himself. Oop.
We're pressing everything. Actually, I'm gonna check out the court record here. I can't examine it. Okay. I can examine everything. I can examine everything else, like this. Ooh, magnifying glass. Probably important later, I guess, if there's a magnifying glass. Let me look at this real quick. A mostly eaten steak, and the steak knife has been used. So has the fork. Ooh, no cow. Bite marks. Yeah, why are they circular and bite marks if he's been using a fork and a knife? That's weird. Whatever. I'm not gonna. Okay. Let's just press this.
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone? That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? Let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support the statement as well. As can clearly be seen, there was only a single beefsteak on the victim's table. A meal for one.
No. The antique dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. Not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. That's my voice. If I'm perfectly honest, I have no idea. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
Why aren't you telling the truth? What did you say, cadet? Clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. They are not looking at me. They are looking everywhere but me. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it is not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone. That's right.
Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady.
But
If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be named. It is a blatant waste of the court's time.
There's nothing I can say to that. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yeah, I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, there's a brand new piece of evidence. So you said that there's a big chat delay. I don't know how to fix this. Give me a second so I might be able to. I accidentally just paused the chat. There we go, fixed. Oop, let me send something. Okay, I don't know. I think that might have fixed it. Maybe. I don't know how bad the delay is for you. But I think I may have made it a little bit better. As best as I can. Otherwise, I'm not sure how to get it any faster. I don't... I'm semi-new to, like, this whole things with the chat and all that, so I'm not entirely sure. You think it's a bit better? Okay, that's wonderful to hear. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure how all that works. We'll have to do some... I'll have to figure some stuff out off stream. Anyways, yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Oh, I've already figured that out. Press space and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Use the arrow keys. Ooh, I can, like, actually examine these. Rotate the evidence in all directions and examine it from all angles. Wait, I want to try something just because I think it'd be slightly fun. So give me a second, one moment. I just want to see if this works because I remember hearing about it and I'm not entirely sure if it does work. But you know, it'd be cool to see. So, put that on there. Okay. Try this now. Sorry, just one moment. I just think that this would be interesting if this works. I'm not entirely sure how to make this work. Yeah, I'm just gonna pause the game deal for a second. I do apologize for this. I know that it's not the greatest right now. Ah, this is why. Okay, so if I do this, it should work. So let's do... If I do this... Okay, cool. So, was there really a lady? So if you type vote yes or no, I want to see if... I don't know if this works or not, but I guess we'll see. Do you think that there was truly a lady? Who knows? Let's see how this works. Except for all I know, this might not even work. But hey, it's always worth a shot, right? I'm gonna put in my vote as well. Here, vote 1. Go on my belt and at least see if it dates it. Hmm. No change. Oh, simply because I did not have it going through correctly. Maybe like that. Maybe now it shall work. Close poll. Cancel. Yes. Start the poll again and we'll attempt this. Oh, maybe it'd be a good idea if I started the poll correctly. Poll. Huh. Well, the poll's not working right. Unless changing the settings changed everything. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll figure it all out some other time. Thank you for bearing with me there. If the crosshairs pulsate, not postulate. What does postulate mean? I know it's a real word. I just don't remember what it means. Press space to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Need to use the arrow keys. That's a lot of stuff, but... Oh, we can open it up. That's already something new. This I'll say. Let's have a look. This is some kind of medical history. No, and there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this. Anesthesia. So I believe this game takes place in the 1800s. I should point out for references the time frame. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Oh, there's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink beside water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? It sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Oh, so that wasn't his food. That explains things. Just new information. I mean, one particular statement completely changes. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again. Don't you? Definitely. Dun dun dun. We're starting to break holes in our case. I want to examine more things. I can't examine that. I can't examine that. I can examine... Oh. Oh? Chief Inspector Satoru Hosanga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Oh, maybe this waiter was not all he seemed. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, you see that how it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosanga. Yeah, business cards you can show the person's name. That's sort of the point. Not the name that's unexpected, it's his job title. Job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosanga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea, but let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence. They're wielding it somehow here. Waiter's business card information has been updated in the court record. Okay, I'm taking my bets. I'm willing to stage my bets here. The inspector for the waiter is like undercover, and he's like doing a cover up here. Only person not present, indeed alone, he was dining all by himself. Objection. That's not the direction I pressed, but it is whatever. This is all he said earlier, I believe. Oh, I think the situation's changed. Let me go to my options real quick. Can I turn the text to speed? Because I feel like they talk a little slow for when I'm... Yeah, that should work. I'm gonna go ahead and save because I've been playing for a while now. It's been an hour 30 and I've not even saved yet, so I should probably do that. This will go ahead and save. Oh yes, that's exactly what I needed because we have what we need. In case of using it. Then you mean there is a discrepancy somewhere? Crucial point is, the victim had been prohibited from consuming anything but water when he was shot. The fact has not yet been brought to the court's attention. He's right, thinking about how Dr. Wilson's circumstances were at the time of the incident, with that particular statement in total different light. Always keep your eye on the progress of the battle. The only way to be sure to win. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Present, indeed, alone he was, dining all by himself. That is a lie. Good night, see you later. Hey, have a good evening. It was great having you here. Thank you so much for joining me. I mean, it means a lot. Thank you for being here. Have a good one, Haley. Haley BB. Well, I think, what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryunosuke. Everyone stumbles in their words occasionally, but under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in the cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you know exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. Alright, and thanks for the advice. Korakuda-san, this medical report card belonging to the victim. I see, and I don't see. What of it, boy? You're comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement. There's something clearly doesn't add up. Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your own amateurish drivel. But, let's see if I can explain it in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered in the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's, Remember, Ryunosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words to make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is truly no need to prolong this trial. The witness testifies the court has heard been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all. For simple reason that there is no one else besides his pale-faced pupil who could have done it. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that? That outburst have petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hata Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic? Dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted. Huh? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, Cadet? He had orders not to eat? So what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't... Korakuda-san. Wait, boy, wait. As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Expertly done, partner. What is this nonsense, you little upstart? There are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about, or can't you follow the logic?
How dare you? I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryunosuke? Yes, most definitely. So, just having undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves a very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beef steak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. Counsel? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? Alright, answer the question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of their turning in this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been an as of yet unknown third party. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table. You will let this go, will you? There was no such person. There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. The court decides to push through a ruling at this stage. We will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice to pursue a fair retrial. Relentlessly. What? Are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them, the two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And, since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? No! Hold it! Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following my orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they told us. Oh. What? What did you just say, Korekura-san? You were just following orders. Now, hold on, lad. I was, say you never saw the gentlewoman. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? Huh? What is the meaning of all this? The witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one. Just one simple slip of the tongue. Order. Counsel, explain what's going on here. It's painfully clear now you try to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this. Then who's behind this? Who tried to keep you make your mouth shut? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Who tried to keep you make you... Can't talk. Well, that's classified. So you're prepared to be tried as conspirator for this murder, are you? You wouldn't... This can't be happening. Ryunosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were responding to someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchi had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there's only a handful of possibilities. Not even the government, the military, or police. Well, any ideas as to who might be behind this? We can affirm we tried to silence his witnesses. Name whoever it was, try to keep the mouth shut. Of course, we need evidence. Evidence that proves whoever it was did wield his overall power there. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? Okay, wait, I already solved this puzzle, yay! Oh yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have. We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's no time to lose. I want answers. Proving these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear on every Shinto god. I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? No, well, Your Excellency. Time to think. I'm just gonna close my eyes and shout out the first thing that comes to my mind. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is Satoru Hosonaga. Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier? Poppycock! What possible reason could the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter cannot possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If that is, the man truly were a waiter. If he truly were... Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. Proof that Sultanaro-san's real identity is proven by this evidence. The waiter's business card. The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency. That's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's our interest. I beg your pardon? Perhaps I should say the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession. His true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. What? The waiter is police... I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand... was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen the foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Hold it. Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. But we'll take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Yes, I remember now. You'd act strange when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself get distracted when I made the sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So you mean to say, you really are a detective? But why would a detective be working at a restaurant as a waiter? Of course. Working undercover. I was working undercover. Undercover. Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant. What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can state categorically there are some that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga. But you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information about the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table? If that is indeed true, clearly you would have also been aware of the person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner, therefore I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required that these witnesses be in agreement. Would that be correct? Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen. The victim sat in his chair, and beside him, a gun in hand, stood the accused student. And opposite of the table was a young lady, whom I assumed to be an Englishwoman. The truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then I received some special orders. The special orders, you mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once. It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. Huh? The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationship with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishwoman has been murdered on English soil. To name the Englishwoman as the primary suspect. Without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. That's the reason for the disappearance behind the Phantom Woman in the case. But it's not right. One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Cosima? Yuma University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean... When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. And the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the University Professor's table is a certain Miss Jezile Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yuma University's medical faculty. What is happening here? I admit that under orders from Police Bureau, I erase all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and order these witnesses to make no mention of her at their testimonies. It must now be up to you, Your Excellency, to decide how to deal with the situation. Very well, my thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court had been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, the victim was dining alone. However, as we now discover this premise is false, it would be discretion of our justice to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point. Hi, welcome to the stream. But Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a ruling in order to send a telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counsel. I'll not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Jezile Brett and escort her to the courtroom with utmost urgency. At once, Your Excellency. But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the Police Bureau. As I said before, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. So it won't be a problem. Nothing will get in my way. This man is gonna die. He's like tuberculosis or something. I mean, it's the 1800s. That's actually a real possibility. Anyways, court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student, Jezile Brett, to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Your Excellency. Good. Then we will have a 30-minute recess before the reconvening. be continued. And I think that, because I've been streaming for what, about almost 2 hours now. I'm gonna save, yeah. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours now, and I do have class early in the morning because I'm a college student. That I think that if there ever was a time to end the stream, it would probably be about now. So, I thank you all who came in, everybody who came to watch, everybody who tried. Thank you all so much for coming to the stream. Wonderful to have you. And hope you'll have a wonderful evening. I plan on coming back tomorrow to hopefully finish Adventure 1 of the game. And keep an eye out for this stream's VOD to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, Con. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good one.